What's going on today, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to give you my honest opinion on the Cobb 20G, kind of some of the reasons why I chose it, and some of its performance in my car with supporting mods and such. The Cobb 20G is just an old school 20G turbo. I think the flow rate on it is something like 44 pound a minute, so it's not a big turbo by any stretch. Of course, 20G it's not going to be. Kept going back and forth between 20G or the Blausch 1.5 or the Polka Pickle 2.5, and ultimately settled upon the 20G simply because it's a old school, tried and true turbo, and it's pretty dependable. Cobb name, such probably easy resale on the open market there, just by the name alone. As far as turbo goes, in my car with supporting mods, everything full bolt on. Fuel systems 1300 ID injectors, and AEM 340 pump hardwired on E85, made 390 wheel horsepower. The boost goes, let's say it tops out, spikes up to about 23.5 and tapers off to about 21.5 towards red line. The injector duty cycles peak out about 68%. Turbo itself goes, best way to describe it is pretty well stock like spool. You get full spool around 3400, 3600-ish, somewhere in there. But the only thing about it is it doesn't die off like the stock turbo does. It pulls pretty hard all the way through to the red line. It drops off, I think on the dyno graph, drops off roughly 6700. So RPMs, you can see a pretty significant drop there. So like drivability and streetability goes, I mean, it's a very good setup for a daily driver. You got all the power and torques down low. You don't have to wait on it to come on. Overall, it's a really solid turbo. It's like I say, it's tried and true old school 20G. So it's really nothing new technology to go wrong or anything like that. But just some notes about it. One thing about the Cobb here is the wastegate actuator. You can see it's really close to the intercooler. One thing about that is, and I think it's even noted, is that they send you a spacer. I think it's close to the factory top mount, and they actually send you a spacer to space it up so that way you don't have any interference issues. Other than that, I've had no issues out of it. I've had it on there for about 3,000 miles. Still pulls hard. Like I say, no issues on that end. Do I think that if it's worth the money? I think it was $1,200 or so when I bought it, $1,200, $1,300. It's worth it depending upon your goals. My goal was just to have a fun backroads car currently. Down the road we might go bigger stock location and or maybe do a rotated setup. That's what I say. Right now I'm still running on internal wastegate. It was simpler at the time, just to get it out here on the road and have fun with it. That's all I wanted it for. Yeah, it's worth it. So like I say, if you're on daily the car, it's a perfect daily setup. But as far as making big numbers with it, you're not going to make huge numbers with it. I think top of the mark outside of extreme setups. I know JR tuned one to 500 wheel, I think, but that's probably on the edge of destroying itself if I was guessing. But normal setup, kind of like I got here, you might be able to stretch one, I'm going to say somewhere around 410, 415 wheel horsepower. If you're, let's say, if you're lucky, and somebody might be able to prove me wrong. But I think old school, like I say, the 44 pound, you're not going to get a whole lot out of it past a certain point. In my honest opinion, I should have probably gotten the 1.5 XTR from Blausch, but hindsight 2020. I'll just keep this, party with it for a little bit, and like I say, down the road we might go bigger stock location and or get a rotated setup, do front mount, all that, but that's further down the line. But yeah, that's what I say. Overall, it's a good turbo. Car pulls good, 390 wheel, can't complain with that. Stock clutch, it's probably not going to live too long. If I'd have got the Blausch 1.5, the stock clutch would probably been out by now, would be my guess. But anyways, if you found the video helpful, please leave a like. Catch you in the next one.